6. I stand in opposition of SB1 for multiple reasons, one being that you have stripped away my voice from 1998. I find it to be an injustice and a criminal act upon my rights as a citizen. I do not give you any proxy nor right to vote yes in my name. Saying that, another reason I oppose the SB1, you do not have enough factual, qualified information coming to a conclusion. And I fear that some may sound authoritative, but is not substantiated. The words can be detrimental. Just as words say separation of church and state is in the Constitution and the people believed it, it is not. This is nowhere to be found in the Constitution that there is separation of church and state, and I have my Constitution with me. The other thing is, for this reason, I refute the testimony given by the woman of many degrees who stated there are many in her profession that say transgender is not a choice. Her statements are not proven to be fact. I refute her statements on the studies and research that she says correlates with her testimony. These are only theories, no fact. Research and clinical studies are usually funded by the company or group that wants to prove their product or theory. My company funds many such studies, where a clinical study is done to protect the outcome of bias. We do double-blind studies, research that are peer-reviewed, that are established, the integrity of the study as well as the company by doing that. Then the results are published in medical journals such as these, and our studies have a conclusion that are facts. If I did not have the physical proof to this, I have links that could direct you to it. I also have a list of all the studies that were done to substantiate our medical claims. I refute her statements leading to inherent traits. If there are more than one transgender in a family, again, that's a theory. I say it is learned. What a child sees, processes, and learns, then chooses to participate. Is cooking an inherent trait? Many in a family do it. Why do we have culinary schools?
Thank you very much. Okay, at this point, let's stop and does anybody have any questions for this last batch of testifiers? Representative Fale. I understand. We're on a different. It's about the place to break. I'm sorry. So, thank you.
I have one for the gentleman that has the same haircut style as me, who. I don't see him. He was standing in the back earlier.
Okay.
I think he might have walked out during the recess,
okay.
Chair.
Anybody else?
At the actual end of if he walks back in before the end of the back.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chair.
Vice Chair Har.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Is number 4826? I'm sorry, 4826 still here? Mr. Anson Rigo. Good afternoon, Mr. Rigo. It's nice to put a face to a name. You're a very well-respected attorney from the Leeward side, so thank you for all that you do representing the people from the Leeward side.
Mahalo.
You know, I want to ask you a question because you talked about divorce as well as you talked about the religious exemption language. You touched upon it. Yesterday we had a family law attorney who had been in private practice for 25 years who had some issues with that divorce proceeding section.
I heard some of her testimony. Yes, she is a family law practitioner. I'm a general practitioner.
Mm-hmm. So have you done divorce proceedings?
Yes.
Okay, so what she was basically stating was that in this particular section, there's no domicile requirement.
Yes.
So if a heterosexual couple wants to get a divorce in the state or in the state of Hawaii, is there a domicile requirement?
Yes, there's 3 months in the circuit and 6 months in the state of Hawaii.
Okay, so, but you understand that in this particular, have you read this provision, Mr. Rigo?
I'm sorry?
Have you read this provision on pages 14 through 15 regarding the divorce proceedings?
Yes, I have.
Okay, so.
So I'm sorry. Is there?
I'm trying. What is your concern with it?
We've been over this topic before with someone who was. Is there some question about what?
Yes, there is.
You mentioned it, Chair.
Here's the problem with that section. First of all, it does give preferences to same-sex couples that it would not give to heterosexual couples. It allows them, after they're married in Hawaii, to leave the state and come back 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, and file for a divorce. Now, the problems with that, of course, is due process.
my point is, Vice Chair, is this question was asked and answered yesterday, and I don't think the answer has changed.
Mr. Chairman, I actually don't think we got into due process with all due respect, so would it be possible for just...
Could we please, yes,
Okay.
please,
Thank you.
hurry.
I'm sorry.
Please continue.
Continue? Okay.
Be as quick as possible. Thank you.
Yes. The problem, of course, besides due process and equal protection, is that the courts, this bill would allow, and of course there's been 3 or 4 bills in the last 8 days, but this particular bill does say that a person can come, that was in Hawaii years previously, can come back and only do a divorce without the jurisdictional domiciliary requirements. There's a Supreme Court case, a Williams case, many, many years ago that said you had to meet these requirements. The problem is that the family court in Hawaii does not like to take care of granting a divorce without taking care of the other issues, such as children. But they can't, in this particular statute, as written, to take care of that issue of children unless both same-sex couples come back 10, 20 years from now or 5 years from now to have that adjudicated. So they would grant the divorce. What about the children? What about their parentage? What about their custody? What about their education? What about their child support? You can't do that in the family court, in my understanding, presently.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Rigo.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Members, any other questions? Okay, go ahead.
The gentleman with the same style haircut. I have a question regarding. We would both agree. What's your ancestry? What's your
I'm Okinawan, Filipino, and part Hawaiian.
Okay, Okinawan, Filipino, part Hawaiian. Like many of us here, we're all mixed, right? Hawaii has a very diverse culture. We have Filipinos, Japanese, Okinawan, Chinese.
This is a well-known fact. Can we?
Okay.
What's your question?
Okay. My question, Mr. Chair, is that the statement was made that the beliefs or cultures or those with beliefs or cultures that do not support same-sex marriage have those beliefs or understanding rooted in fear, ignorance, and bigotry.
No, that's not what I said. I said that there's a multitude of beliefs, but I'm saying if your beliefs are indeed righteous, then you should stand strong in them and have confidence in them. I said if your beliefs are based on fear, lies, and bigotry, then they won't hold, because like all of those are considered lies in some extent. As your children discover the world, and if they find out that those are lies, they won't hold on to them. So if your values and parenting is indeed pono and righteous, they should stand strong in them. That is what I say.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is that for all the places of national origin that have descendants here in the place of Hawaii, right? Mm-hmm. The Philippines, Japan, China, Tonga, Samoa, right. Fiji, right? They all have laws that support only traditional marriage.
Right, but
do you believe that their system of beliefs are founded in lies, ignorance, and bigotry?
No, that's a leading question. I'm not going to answer that. I did not say that.
I think this is just headed for an argument. So please let's move on. Anyone else have a question?
Putting words in my mouth, with all due respect, dear representative.
Anyone else have a question? Okay, let's go ahead and move on to the next testifier. Next testifier,
Thank you,
please.
Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Ben Lee. My number is 4975. I'm an ordinary state worker, a husband, and a father of 2 kids. And I'm opposed to this Senate Bill number 1. And let me say this. I've been always proud of being an American, and it's not in my script. And even now, I'm still proud of having this opportunity to testify before you. But then for the first time, as being an American, I feel so sorry and ashamed of what our government is doing. In particular, you display a level of the English language that is lower than an immigrant citizen like I am. And I'm sorry for that. Why? Because you're distorting the language. and setting a bad example for our kids. Not only that, you are defacing and degrading our Constitution, and that's not right. If you want to legalize same-sex marriage, that's fine. Let's do it porno. If I were one of those people, my fellow citizens who are raised in Aloha Lays, I would say this: let's do it, but let's do it porno. All right? Let's put in a vote. Let all the people to vote on that. And also, much has been said about how much money Hawaii is going to make by attracting foreign citizens to come here to engage in same-sex marriage. And I did some research in the case of the Netherlands and Canada. Both are popular destinations for Asian visitors. And I did the research and I didn't find any sensation like that. And if you are interested in that, I can tell you more later on. And thank you for the time, and God bless you. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Next, please.
Aloha, my name is Yuan Wang. My number is 4893. I strongly oppose SB1 because my English not good. Please allow my friends read for me. Thank you.
Okay. Proceed.
Marriage is between a man and a woman. We cannot change this definition. And also, I want my children to have a normal marriage between a man and a woman so that our offspring can continue. I love Hawaii and I care about this state. Many Chinese people came to Hawaii for honeymoon and tour. A lot of my friends have come here. And I got shocked when I saw them go shopping and buy plenty of stuff without thinking at Waikiki, at Waikeliwa Outlet, at Ala Moana Shopping Center. And also, a lot of Chinese parents send their children to Hawaii to study. I can say it's really popular right now. But none of the Asian countries legalize same-sex marriage. If this bill passes, it affects them came here because they may feel uncomfortable due to their traditional value. They may choose other states and countries. That will be our big loss. I strongly against SB1. It's not good for our society. Such an important issue cannot be rushed to pass. At least let the people vote. And someone had told me before I came here that I am a number only. I am just a number. Decision has already been made. I choose to believe I am not just a number. I am here in this room. So may God bless you all, give you wisdom and courage to say no to SB1. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, please.
Number 4970. Aloha, my name is Carson Tan, and I oppose SB1, which also is known as the Hawaii Marriage Equality Act of 2013. I strongly agree that we should treat all people with dignity and respect, and we should treat people equally as much as possible. However, I believe seeking equality under certain circumstances can be inappropriate and unreasonable. For example, a man who seeks equal rights as a woman to enter women's restroom is unreasonable, because by design, a women's restroom is built for women and should be reserved only for women. Restricting men from entering women's restroom is not an equality issue. Another example, a bus-only lane is by design reserved for buses. If I ask for allowing my personal vehicle on bus lane based on the reason that all vehicles are made equal, you will probably laugh at me and tell me that that's not an equality issue. In the same way, marriage is by design for a woman and a man, and it should be reserved accordingly. I just don't understand why would anyone consider this as discriminatory. United States of America is known for her upholding of individuals' rights and promoting equality among all people. If legalization of same-sex marriage is the right thing to do, I believe the founding fathers of this country would have done it over 200 years ago. So why didn't they do that? My answer is because it's not an equality issue. I respectfully ask you to vote no to SB1. And if it's necessary, please let the people make the further decision through the democratic process. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much. One moment, please. All right, that was all of the testifiers up to the 5,000 mark. Those who are, so the next group we're taking is 5,000 to the end, which is 5190, 5182. So if the for those who missed their time slot before, between 1 and 1,000 could please come down now. That's 1 and 1,000. This is your second chance to testify. And if you could please line up, come downstairs and check in now. Okay, next testifier. Thanks.
Aloha and good afternoon. My name is Feng Li, and my number is 5072. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. And I'm here to voice my strong opposition to Bill SB1. And I'm asking you, the lawmakers, to bravely say no to SB1. Family is a human society's fundamental institution in which man and woman are bounded together by marriage. In fact, family and marriage existed in human history long before the birth of man-made laws because of marriage's natural characteristics. When man and woman are bounded in marriage, they carry out the work of human reproduction, which keeps human beings going on from generations to generations. With all due respect, the word marriage is only for a man and a woman. And I want to re-emphasize, this is a traditional marriage that thousands of us and the people of Hawaii has come to protect her. It's not a marriage of a single individual, not a marriage for you, for me. If every individual has his own definition of marriage, the human society will go to chaos, and we will redefine marriage in another 10 years, or maybe another 10 years. That will keep you very busy. And secondly, the impacts of changing and redefining marriage are long-term. Its impacts on our kids and our grandkids are greater than on us. Redefining marriage in a special session is not respectful to our children nor to your children. It is not responsible to our children or nor to your children. Thousands of people have testified in opposition of SB1, and you have heard of it. So if the House would pass it, then you did not listen to the people. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to voice my opposition to SB1.
Thank you very much. Next testifier, please.
Aloha. My name is John Hu. I'm a professor at UH. My wife and I came to the US from China more than 30 years ago.
Can you state your number?
5051. After receiving our PhDs from Cornell, we moved to Hawaii from New York 23 years ago. Our two children grew up in Hawaii. We love Hawaii and care a lot about Hawaii. Thank you for working so hard for our state. Thanks a lot for giving me this opportunity to share with you my own opinions on this important issue. 1. I respect people who have different opinions, perspectives, and desires, but I must say that homosexuality is not correct. We love the people, but against the things. 2. I strongly believe that a marriage should be between a man and a woman, between a husband and a wife, based on my Christian value. 3, as a father, I strongly believe it's for the best interest of my two children, for the best interest of my future grandchildren, and for the best interest of all the children in Hawaii to have a father and a mother in their families. In conclusion, please vote no to this bill. Please let people vote to make the final decisions. Thank you and mahalo. God bless you.
Thank you. Next up.
Aloha. My name is Min Wang. My number is 5050. I'm the wife of John Hu 5051. I oppose the bill SB1. I love the word equality. Because of equality, I chose to live in this great country called the United States of America. Equality means everyone should be treated the same. No one can force others to do anything or accept anything. This bill is not just about gay marriage. It's about concept and the principles for many generations to come. When I'm hospitalized, I don't want to be forced to stay with my roommate who was born to be a male but now desires and claims to be a female. My great-grandchildren shouldn't have to be forced to worry if the person in the next bathroom stall claims to be a boy but was born to be a girl. This is not equality. Also, do I have to accept the idea that the same transgender can marry to a male and also to a female at the same time under different genders, but the same person? The gay marriage concept is just the beginning and is a very complex marriage which will eventually lead the society into a very confusing, manipulating, and a chaotic stage. As a concerned citizen, I'll be forced to accept it if this matter is rushed and the bill is passed. This is not equality. So please let the issue be decided by all the voters. Let there be true equality and vote no to this bill. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up.
Hi, my name is Linda Fong, and my number is 5115. I oppose SB1. If we say marriage is not about husband and wife, mother and father, where do we stop to redefine the marriage? If the marriage is the right to marry whoever you wanted to marry or whoever you love, is the fundamental civil rights, then let's ask these questions. How about someone wants to have 2 husbands, 2 wives, or someone in the name of the love wanted to marry their brother or their sister? Are you ready to answer those questions? There's somebody said, I think it is possible to love more than one person and have more than one partner. If that bill comes, are you ready to open the gate? There is another question. If a same-sex marriage is legalized, could the statement, children need a mother and father, be deemed as hate speech? Then, how about classroom material? Consider a recent National Public Relations story about Boston. An 8th grader teacher, their teaches about gay sex thoroughly, explicitly, and then when parents complain about it, he said, give me a break, it's legal now. Okay, now the last question. If the parents, birth mother, they want to give adoption, and they choose not give the gay marriage couple, will they be punished? Did you ask those questions? Did you have a decision? So I say stop it. Thank you.
Okay, next. Next, please come up.
My name is Charlie Peterson. My number is 5135. I came down here earlier and listened and trying to be unbiased. I really listened to the concerns and the pleas of the people. I saw the body language, the bitterness in the room. I listened to harmful words. I saw pride. I saw you as the leaders and representatives respond through body language. You could see agenda. You could see concerns. You could feel a sense of, I've already made my decision. My heart aches for the people here. There will never be a sense of equality in any place, but where we find this equality and peace is in the safety of our homes. This is where our children find a sense of peace, where they can come home without the teachings that may be unnecessary and harmful to the soul. We have the freedom to raise our children how we want and teach them a foundation of certain beliefs, understandings, and can answer questions the way we find most respectable and teaching at certain ages. This should not be enforced on our families. Give us that respect. If you're going to throw a one-sided bill out on the people, show some respect. Give us refuge by allowing protection on our beliefs. By taking away our religious freedom, you will cause more harm on families in the state of Hawaii will suffer. To the committee members that will take my testimony to heart, I offer you my deepest gratitude. However, as of 9:50 on Friday night, it was clear that the sentiment of one representative that was, my laundry is pilau. It is both my sincerest hope that this representative's callous attitudes are not representative of the entire body, and this matter will be appropriately investigated by the House of Members, by the media, and by the people. With the permission of the chair and any additional members, I would like this conversation entered into the record. I have papers of the copy that it was stated, if you guys would like to see.
Okay, next.
Hola, Chair Rhodes, Chair Luke, and members of the committee. My number is 5155. My number is 5155, and my name is Andreas. I am 24 years old, and I'm a registered voter in the 31st District. I recognize that each of you deal with numerous issues on a daily basis that the public never sees. So from the bottom of my heart, I thank each of you. I originally had a different testimony prepared, but after following the special session since Monday, at this point, I realized whether I'm for marriage equality or traditional marriage, it's irrelevant. Everything that needs to be said on either side has been said. The real issue at hand is that you realize the vote you will make, it's not about whether you're for marriage equality or traditional marriage. It is whether you believe that SB1 is a sound, clear-cut, and predictable document that will make a well-written law. On Friday night, Judge Ahu testified, and on Saturday night, a lawyer by Mr. Rolfing testified, and many of you expressed legitimate concerns regarding the wording and interpretation of this bill. If you are completely confident that this bill is well-written and will make a good law, as is, then by all means, pass it. But if you even have a fleeting thought, a shadow of a doubt that this bill is unclear and could be legally problematic, then you owe it to the people as elected officials. You owe it to yourselves as intellectual individuals to either kill the bill or amend what needs to be amended. I do not claim to be a professional in any way, but hanging around the Capitol for a week, you tend to learn a few things. I learned that there are other bills regarding this issue, this same issue. I urge you to review House Bill 6, particularly sections 4 and 5. If this ordeal is really about equal rights, then let it truly be about equal rights for all parties. Thank you again for all of your hard work, your time, and your consideration.
Thank you. Next up.
My name is Micah Hood. I'm number 5102. I'd like to start out with just saying thank you for listening to everybody who's come through these doors, except for Ing, who'd rather be on Facebook talking trash about the people that elected him instead of listening to what they say.
Okay. Excuse me.
Oh, I'll continue.
Please refrain from making personal attacks.
All right.
But go ahead.
I'd also like to take a little bit of time to apologize to the gay community for the way that some Christians, I am a Christian, some way that they act towards you. You guys are humans and do not deserve to be treated any less than another human. You deserve civil rights, definitely, but marriage is not a civil right. Jesus is all about love. He always teaches love, but don't mistake love for tolerance of the lifestyle. Today I stand in opposition of Senate Bill 1, not because I'm opposed to gays and lesbians and transsexuals and bisexuals having civil rights. I'm opposed to the fact that after everyone has come and spoken here today and the other days, that we might still not have a voice and a vote in what's happening. Marriage is supposed to be a union that supports wholesome family values, and the gay lifestyle is high risk, results in things like AIDS, other STDs. I feel like the gay community does not want it to go to a vote because they know the Hawaiian people will vote this down. Hawaii does not want this bill to pass. We are the people, and you guys should listen to us, because when the next election comes around, You know, if you vote yes for this bill, we'll vote yes for somebody else, definitely. You know, a lot of people say it's bullying the minority, but America is a product of the majority. All of you sitting there are a product of the majority. Now, the majority of people have come back and asking you what to vote on this bill, and you should listen to them. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next up.
Good afternoon, legislators. My name is James Tapulgo, and my number is 5101. Before I start my testimony, I just want to say that my testimony is not pilau. The reason thousands of people came here testifying against this bill is that we don't want 77 people change everything that has been set forth by the people that made the state unique than any other state in the United States. We also don't want 77 people that think they know what is best for the people of Hawaii. I strongly oppose to SB1. For most people that made it last week and today, they sacrificed leaving their families, their work, and even their responsibilities just to be here and testify. Every testimony against this bill is not all about religion exemptions or the future of the keikis. A bill threatening to change the traditions, the culture, the beliefs, and the lives of the people in Hawaii can't be decided in a very short time, especially from 76 people and the governor. As you can see, people are setting aside their religious beliefs and uniting together, opposing against this bill. First, I say today, kill this bill or let the people vote. Not letting the people of Hawaii vote for this issue is basically telling the people that they don't have the freedom of speech to say what they think about this bill. If this bill passes, this will greatly affect the lifestyle of the people in Hawaii and the generations to come. Thousands of citizens from young in age to young in heart have testified against this bill because they understand what SB1 will do in the future days to come. It is unacceptable to not let every single resident in Hawaii get a chance for their voices to be heard. Secondly, passing this bill will bully the majority of the people here in Hawaii. SB1 is the formula for destruction in families, schools, businesses, and even the leaders that will replace those who support this bill. SB1 will also pervert the meaning of marriage, just as it has in different places that legalize same-sex marriage. Not passing this bill is not discrimination to the gays and the lesbians. Discrimination for me is hatred to people that can't be changed. Being homosexual can obviously be changed, since it is a lifestyle and not something you get when you're born. Third, it's only been a week.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I oppose this bill.
Aloha, my name is Daniel Franco Hugh Jr., number 5015. I am opposed to this bill, SB1. I am of Korean, Hawaiian, and Chinese descent. I'm here because of this process set forth by the United States of America. My mother was from Korea. She was sponsored by her sister who was married to an American citizen. She was able to live the American dream and become a citizen herself. I had the honor and a privilege of being part of a process as well a few years ago. I was summoned for jury duty. As many of us here, or maybe not, I tried to think of all the excuses to tell the judge why I didn't want to go into jury duty, from I love police officers to whatever it may be. But the judge said, you know what? Enough of this. This is the reason why we have jury duty. It's your duty as a citizen to be part of this. And he shared about the reasons why, and I was inspired. And after that, I was like, you know what, Judge? Let me do it again. We go, and I was so bummed that I wasn't picked and the case was dismissed because I wanted to be part of that process. I just ask you to allow this process to happen. Allow the voting process to happen. Don't speed it up. Slow it down. Take some time. Let's use some wisdom and discernment. Thank you so much for listening to all of our testimonies. But I don't know how, after this session is done, you can read through all 15,000 testimonies in a few hours to try to finish it tonight. I just ask that you just allow the people to vote, allow this process to happen, because that's what was set forth to be fair. And no matter what side you stand on, we just want it to be fair, right? And that's what I ask you to do, just allow the process to happen. Please don't rush through this whole thing. Take some time, and if you are summoned to do jury duty, just do it. It's part of your duty, Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Next up.
Hi, my name is Kupono Kuomoro. My number is 5016. So thank you guys so much for all that you're doing and for sacrificing your guys' time and your family's time to listen to us concerned citizens for this past week. It's an honor and privilege here to testify before you guys today. I'm 21 years old, and I'm strongly opposed to SB1. I was born and raised here, went to Moano High School. I played sports my whole life. I'm currently a college student, and I hope to be graduating next fall. I'm half Japanese, quarter Filipino, and quarter Hawaiian. And I'm also millennial, which means I'm on my phone way too much. I wear really tight pants. I'm on social media too much, and I drink too much coffee, despite my parents saying it was bad for me when I was growing up. News flies right over my head, and I don't really understand politics. I've never done this before. And I've never done this before because I've never been so passionate about a political issue so much before that caused me to come and testify before you guys today. I'm just like your kids. I've been raised up with the same values as you raised your kids up with. I represent the generation you're trying to impact and the generation that you're raising up to lead the future generations. But I refuse to stand by, like the rest of my generation and your kids are so accustomed to, and I want to take a stand against this bill. We are so used to letting our parents or our leaders handle everything. But you've heard a lot of us young people here this past week, and I think we have a unanimous voice that we all want to be heard. I stand here asking that you would let the people decide. Although I'm opposed to SB1 and I believe marriage should be between a man and a woman, I'm not gay and I do not understand their viewpoint, their feelings or their desires. And our desire is that you as our representatives of the people would allow the people to decide. The special session can go on indefinitely and the small time frame is not enough to weigh both sides and come to a conclusion. So let us decide. Hopefully this bill will be on the next ballot. Letting us decide means that all of us have a say in this matter. It will honor all of us, those who flew in from neighbor islands, those who have been here all week, who took off from their jobs and who possibly been let go. So thank you and God bless.
Thank you. Next up.
Hi, my name is Grayson West. I'm 22 years old. I'm born and raised here in Hawaii. My number is 5023. I oppose SB1 because of the way we have decided to approach the passing of this bill. I believe that as a resident of the state of Hawaii, myself, as well as the people who call this place home, deserve to have our voices heard. When we elected you to your positions, we were thought to believe that you would represent us accurately. And by allowing this bill to pass as opposed to being put on a ballot shows that we really do not have a say in this matter. As a young adult, my biggest fear is allowing someone else's beliefs, someone else's agenda, and someone else's morals raise my kids. I believe passing this bill takes away my right as a parent to raise my kids how I see fit. I don't want my future, as well as the futures of many parents, to be one filled with opposition to what our kids are being taught. Lastly, in conclusion, I don't believe that taking away already established freedoms from one group to please another group's agenda brings equality to all parties involved. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up.
Aloha. Aloha, Chair Rhodes and Chair Luke and others. I am Rosemary Sam Fong from the hills of Papakolea, and I most strenuously oppose SB1. My number is 5073. I am here in behalf of my children, grandchildren, and the primary and youth program that from my church that I represent and attend. When the bill was presented by the AG and his staff, almost immediately there were questions regarding it. The AG tried to answer the questions that were posed by the Senate and yourselves. It seemed that as time went on, there were lawyers and laypersons questioning certain parts of the bill as it relates to religious activities, use of buildings, businesses, and of course the Native Hawaiian community. What would it mean if this bill passed? With all of this and the amount of time spent on this bill, there are people here that still would like to see this bill passed as is. Shame. Shame on the AG and his staff for writing such a faulty bill, evident by the questions that was brought out. However, on the other hand, I am so grateful at the same time because it allowed Representative Har, Representative Jordan, and others to question the language of this written bill so that they can make changes to this bill to represent the majority of Hawaii's people and to give everyone rights that is deserving to them. I'm going to go off on a limb to say that it leads me to believe that the rush of this bill, this particular bill, is because there may be an undercurrent of things that we cannot see as lay people that is going on within our government. Marriage is between a man and a woman.
Okay, thank you very much. Next up.
My name is Lavena West. My number is 5164, and I declare it up front, I am really against this bill. Aloha kikahi e kikahi. This was the last commandment given by Jesus Christ before he ascended into the heavens. You are to love one another as I have loved you. My stance in this matter does not reflect in any way my inability to love despite differences. It's not religiosity. I assure you, though some may view it as such, nor am I a product of, quote, colonialism. I base my faith on experience, 68 years of experience, good and bad, and I have reviewed these terms of democracy and fully understand the rights of the minority is of concern with this legislative body. On the other side of the spectrum, I pose this question. What about the rights of the majority? You've had years to come up with a creative resolution without endangering the rights of all the people. Now faced with this issue one more time, hearing the testimony of both parties, that has become a burden I might add, that has been dumped upon your shoulders in as passing the buck. But you don't have to carry this burden by yourselves. Give it to the people and let the people decide. If the crux of this problem be social benefits for same-sex unions, then remedy their cause. Find the creative means and the ways to serve them too. Only don't do it at the expense of those who believe in the sanctity of marriage and family. The decimation of the traditional family is already on the rise. And as if our children don't have enough to contend with, I speak on behalf of my mo'opuna as their grandma, who are too young to understand the ramifications of this bill if it is passed into law the way it is written. This bill, which has already began to divide families and friends.
Thank you very much. Next up, please come up.
Hi, my name is Michael Chinen, and my number is 5022. Honorable Chairs Rhodes and Luke and members of the House Judiciary and Finance Committees, thank you so much for this opportunity to share my voice with all of you. I'm 21 years old, born and raised here on Oahu. I believe sharing my voice is an important role as a citizen of the United States. This is actually my first time doing this, and I really feel like this was an issue where it was important enough, something that I really believe that I need to be here and share my voice with all of you. I believe that my voice for my generation is important. And the assumption is that my generation doesn't care about this issue, or that we're all in support of SB1. But that's not the case. My belief is strongly opposing this bill. And I believe that there are so many people that do not have a chance to speak up for themselves or what they personally believe in. But as an individual that is speaking up, I ask that you give these people a chance to decide and vote so that their voices may be heard as well as mine right here. And I was thinking about this. The only generation that can speak up for the generations after us is this one. And if we don't stand for righteousness, who will stand for the righteousness for them? Thank you very much, and I am strongly opposed to SB1. Mahalo.
Thank you. Next, please come up.
Aloha, my name is Deborah Komatsu, ID number 5034. I oppose Senate Bill 1. Marriage between a man and a woman is ordained of God, and the family is central to the Creator's plan. I'm a proud mother of 6 children, and currently I have 6 grandchildren. In 1996, I filed for divorce, and the legal system in the state of Hawaii required parents to attend a meeting teaching the parents to put the kids first. If the state of Hawaii requires this of divorcing parents, I urge you, as our House of Representatives, to consider SB1 and put the kids first. I'm here to be a voice for the children of traditional marriages. They are the future generation, citizens, and leaders of Hawaii. For example, if a house is purchased, people usually check out their environment, the community, and the schools and do the research prior to signing the contract of the house. Same with SB1. Do not feel you need to make a rush decision. As each of you elected officials are voted in by the citizens of Hawaii, I ask you to educate yourselves and research this bill further. I urge you to take the ample time needed to be educated on the ripple effects of Hawaii, the effects and consequences, and the children growing up and the populations that they will face. For example, children being educated in our school systems by dedicated teachers, my son is one of these teachers, will leave because they are not in compliance with SB1. These children will lose these good dedicated teachers. Currently, SB1 focuses on adult needs. My thoughts and prayers are for the children of Hawaii as minors. They deserve the right to have SB1 researched and have the clear bill, kill the bill, or let the people vote. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
My number is 5044. Is that correct? So my name is Cameron Komatsu, and I was born and raised here, and I'm 19. We live in a world where our society has been slowly strayed from the path to righteousness. This incomplete bill is a catalyst for the corruption of our rising generations. My brother shared with me an experience that happened on Saturday night. He is a coach for Campbell High School football team in this game against Kahuku. One of the Kahuku players became very injured. He was laying on the field unconscious and blood pouring out of his mouth. My brother said that the Kahuku players became angry and they marched forward. A riot seemed inevitable. When my brother looked back at his players, he saw that one of the team leaders gathered his players, got on their knees, and began to pray for this player. As soon as that happened, the Kahuku players got on their knees and joined them. In this time of turmoil, the young players remember to get on their knees and pray for the health of this player. I say these things so that we may also look up to these young players as examples in this time of opposition, that we may do the same. I'm sorry to copy A Miracle on 34th Street, but I hold in my hand $1. And on this dollar, it says, "In God we trust." I urge you to do the same thing. And about this deal about whether being gay is a choice or not, God created all men equal, but God also gives unto men weakness, that they may be humble, and so that these weaknesses may become strengths. Whether you are born gay or not, it is a trial that is given to you to conquer and grow from. And if you do not believe me, I challenge you, I double dog dare you to pray. Exercise even the smallest particle of faith in the words that I say, and you will know that what I say is right. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up.
Hello, Madam Chair Luke, Chair Rhodes, esteemed members of this joint committee. My legislative special session ID number is 5038. I was hoping for 6,000, but I'll take what I can here. And with that said, I'll sacrifice 2 hours of vacation time from work to come here and just express my heartfelt testimony here. For those of you that I had the honor and pleasure of testifying in past legislative session as a Shopo president of the union, I'm not here for that purpose. For those of you that have the honor and pleasure of testifying before on law enforcement measure as a 25-year veteran currently serving in the Honolulu Police Department, which I do so proudly. But I'm here to testify on behalf as my role as a father of 3 daughters and a lovely wife of 26 years. As a law enforcement officer with these types of measures, if it does pass, first and foremost, I am opposed to Senate Bill 1. This type of bill and the language as it's written, from a law enforcement, law-abiding citizen, you will turn me into a lawbreaker. For no one man or woman will tell me when to pray, how to pray, where to pray. With that said, this is my Bible. the word of God. I boldly declare it is the highest law in the land. I am what it says I am. I have what it says I have. I do what it says I do. I am a citizen of heaven.
Okay.
The injustices that has been rendered from this process, from the governor down to his chief of staff, to the AG, and for those of you who declared your position at the preliminary stages of this special session being ordered, has been served on the LGBT community and those who oppose this bill. And lastly, unfortunately, for those of you right here at the legislative body, you have unjustly been given this heat that's so unnecessarily, but it comes with the territory. When I say this, I say it with a humble heart. Justice delayed, justice denied. I say this: justice rushed is justice lost for all. Choose life, people.
Thank you.
Choose to be free.
Okay. Please come up. Again, if I could ask the audience members, for the respect of the testifiers and the members, if you could refrain from comments. Please proceed.
Thank you. My number is 5087, and my name is Chad Armstrong, and I oppose this bill. I am a husband and a father of 3 boys, a 5-year-old, a 3-year-old, and an 8-month. And I'm really scared and afraid for them, for the future. I grew up as a child where I could play outside and be able to feel comfortable in the lifestyle that I grew up in. And I see a total difference now. I see how afraid I am for them, for the choices that they don't have a choice. When I play with them at home and when I spend time with them, I see how impressionable they are by the things that you do, by the things that you say. And in time, we can't be there for them all the time. And to be able to protect them and watch out for them. Me and my wife, we spend many hours praying and wondering how we can, what schools we should take them to, how to protect them, and this is not a way that's going to help that. It's going to make it harder. I'm a bishop of a congregation of 650 plus people, and I have many opportunities to see how sexual sin affects the lives of our families and our children. Have many people come in to talk to me to see them. One thing that's not part of this bill is how the effects of family is in there, how divorce happens, how they hurt. They come to me wondering, what can I do? People who have these problems or any sexual problems, how to get over it. They don't address that in this bill. As a bishop, I have many opportunities to do that, and to see children just confused and wondering, what am I going to do? I pray that we may take a second look at this. I fear for my family, for the eternal perspective of our family. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up.
My name is Christopher Kia Okalani Kamau. My number is 5089. I am opposed to SB1 in this special session. I've played sports a lot in my life, and while growing up, you lose some, you win some. You're not happy with the losses, and neither are the fans, but you're most unhappy with the games where you feel like the refs took the game away from you. And I feel like that's what's happening here. I feel like the refs have stepped in and took the game away from the players. I want to stress that we keep the integrity of the process. I agree with many that pushing a bill through such as this in a special session does not give it due process. If you're not going to give the people the opportunity to vote on this, at the very least, give it due process in a full, normal session. The amount of evidence being presented before you these past few days needs to be weighed, and you don't have enough time to weigh it. There are a lot of gray areas in this bill, and it's been testified by law professionals that it will burden the judicial system. And if I had time, I could give you an example recently of where our small business was sued by a frivolous lawsuit, and it costs a lot more money to go to court as a business in the state of Hawaii than an individual. I've briefly read HB 6, and it seems like it has clearer wording and provides better protections. I believe that there are equal benefits to all. There can be equal benefits to all. I've heard testimony and proof that homosexuality is genetic, but the proof that I've heard I could also turn to show how it's not, which also proves that we need to look at this evidence a little more and weigh it and consider the sources. I'm also a father of 3 daughters, and I want the right to be able to teach them what I want them to hear. I am also troubled by Representative Ng's post on Facebook, where he stated that our tests that let them
Excuse me.
Yes.
We're asking the testifiers not to refer or make personal attacks on any members, as we have reminded testifiers not to make any insults on Senator He.
Okay, I'm just saying that I was offended by it, and that's it.
Go ahead.
Vote no on SB 10, or the SB1, sorry. And I don't believe any of the founding fathers ever said they don't believe in God. Thank you. Aloha.
Thank you. Next up.
Hi, my name is Leonard Swan. My number is 5084. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to testify today. I am here this afternoon as a husband, parent, and teacher in our public school system, and I stand in strong opposition to SB1. Hearing the testimonies over the last week has shown how passionate the people of Hawaii are in reserving the marriage covenant between one man and one woman. My wife and I have watched the testimonies since last Monday and have been encouraged by the call to stand for what is right. We've also heard of the many questions that have yet to be clarified, such as the possible changes to our school curriculum and allowing parents to have their child opt out of this curriculum. And those two areas would affect me deeply as a father and also a teacher. As a teacher, I want my students to always think and problem solve in given situations. I encourage them to continue with a problem or situation even when it gets hard or frustrating, because most often they will find the answer through this struggle. I encourage them to think before acting. But in this case with SB1, it seems that many in our government who we trust want to act before thinking about many of the questions that have been brought up over the last week. As a fourth grade teacher, I try to instill in my students a call to do things pono, even when it is a difficult thing to do. I understand the decision you need to make may be one that you find very difficult, but as you prepare to make a decision, remember the testimonies you've heard over the last week and of the overwhelming majority who have spoken to uphold traditional marriage. And I kind of want to emphasize that, the overwhelming majority. I saw a man who said that the testimonies we've seen is not an accurate picture of how the people of Hawaii feel, but only shows those who could come down and make it. I am sure that those in opposition also have jobs, children, and other responsibilities, but they made it a point to let their voice be heard. I have seen families over the last few days give up Halloween, and I know for me, I'm a teacher, it's hard for kids to give up Halloween, and even their Saturdays, so I oppose SB1. Thank you.
Next up, please come up.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Chairman Luke and Rhodes and the representative. My name is Darrell Sue, and I'm number 5151. I'm a small business man owning 4 different businesses here in Honolulu. A catering company, lunch wagon business for over 28 years. A private badminton club, Honolulu Badminton Club, with over 360 members. 2 noodle factories, which I recently purchased. One is called Crown Noodles, one is called Modern Macaroni Hula Brand. And a combined of over 140 years in business in Hawaii. On behalf of all my businesses, members of my club, and employees, we strongly oppose SB1. In terms of economic and business, we can promote the state for tourism, business, or migration to Hawaii, to the Aloha state, to the people from Canada, all over America, and all over the world, because we are a pono state. They say being a male is a matter of birth. Being a man is a matter of age. Being a gentleman is a matter of choice. And also being a female is a matter of birth. Being a woman is a matter of age. But being a lady is a matter of choice. So we don't need a rocket scientist to tell us what is right or wrong. Just look at the mammals or animals. They know what is right or wrong. You don't see 2 male elephants going at it, or 2 female baboons having sex. I think we are worse than them. Please don't stir up the water from a perfect picture pond. You don't know what is in the pond itself. Like my brother says, if we break the law, you go to jail. But whoever says yes to this bill, you are breaking a nature's law. Please vote no, kill the bill. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next.
Aloha, my name is Jay Amina. My number is 5138. I'm the senior pastor of Ark of Safety Christian Fellowship in beautiful Waianae, Hawaii. Over 1,000 members strong. Thank you, Representative Joe Jordan. I strongly oppose SB1. Kill the bill.
Can I, is your name Burkhart Itavali?
My name is J. Amina.
Okay, what, can you read your number again?
Number 5138.
Okay, can somebody recheck his J what?
Amina, A-M-I-N-A. I have it right here.
J-A-Y?
Yes. Amina, A-M-I-N-A.
Can somebody help him because we don't have him on the list?
This morning when I registered in, I had number 5182. And when I registered, they gave me this number for whatever reason.
5182. 5182 is somebody else too. Can Sergeant at Arms help him, and then we'll pull you back in line as soon as we verify your. And the reason why we're doing this, members in the audience and the representatives as well, is we just wanted to be very open and take as many testifiers as we can.
What do you want me to do?
No, they'll help you, and then we'll pull you back in line. Okay. Next.
My name is Daniel Kaneshiro, number 5032. Honorary Chairman Rhodes, Luke, and committee members. Mahalo for your patience and your committee's dedication to hearing all our testimonies. I'm very impressed. Thank you again. Mahalo for those of you who stand with me in strong opposition to SB1. Mahalo also for those of you who thought you support SB1, but will now vote against this bill for one or more of the following reasons. Number one, you now understand that SB1 is fundamentally flawed in multiple areas, the primary one being this is a moral issue, not one on civil rights. Number two, you now understand that you have been elected by the people to represent the people, all the people, not just those that represent less than 1% of the people. Three, you now understand that an important issue such as this cannot be made law in a few days just because the government wants it. Or four, you're changing your mind because you now understand that credibility of the political process is at stake when the whole state watches live on TV the overwhelming opposition to SB1 and expects you to vote accordingly. Mahalo also to those of you who will vote for SB1, not for your vote, but for serving in public office. I have a special prayer for all of you. Thank you, God, for all the gay people, the governor, all those in the Senate and House of Representatives. We are encouraged because the greatest apostle in the New Testament was Paul. But at one time he was Saul, a persecutor of Christians and of their values. But on the sacred road to Damascus, not in a church and in the absence of clergy, the Holy Spirit came down on Paul and lifted his blindness to see the truth.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Next, please come up. Before you come up, Mr. Kuroda, were you able to take care of it? Okay, please come up.
Okay. Let's try not to let that happen again. It's the third time. Aloha, my name is J. Amina. My number is 5138. I am senior pastor of Ark of Safety Christian Fellowship in God's country, Waianae, with over 1,000 members strong. And again, I said to Representative Joe Jordan, mahalo. I strongly oppose SB1. I'd like to say and stand strongly and say, kill the bill. I am true Hawaiian, 75% Hawaiian. Kanaka Maole. My father was pure Hawaiian, Bene Amina. My mom is Hawaiian, Chinese and Japanese. Her maiden name was Kamaka Vivaole. Iz and I are first cousins. He was the only true Hawaiian allowed to have his celebration of life memorial here in the Rotunda. My testimony is to share in the spirit of aloha. The word aloha has three meanings. It means welcome, I love you, and if you are a visitor, we would say aloha by meaning farewell. Maybe for some of you that have visited our islands, have stayed here much too long and don't appreciate our aloha, maybe we need to say to you farewell. Being born and raised as a son of Hawaii for over 50 years, my parents and kupuna have taught us to love one another and care for the aina. And if there is any pilikia, that means problems, they were to bring together and ask forgiveness. This was the way of life and the way we live today. Aloha and malama, the aina, which is to love and care for the people of our land. 5,000 of us came throughout the week. Many that have protected for their children, their livelihood, and their livestock. We are people of Hawaii. We are not like any other state. SB1 is not accepted here in Hawaii. It is an abomination.
Thank you very much.
Of God.
Okay, and then
Mahalo.
just for members' clarification, the testifier inverted his number. It's 5183. Okay. At this point, it's a good time to take questions. Any questions, members? Representative McDermott.
Madam Chair, I have questions for two separate people. First, Mr. Malafala Teneri. Thank you for coming and thank you for your service to our community in many ways.
Thank you for having me, sir. Thank you.
Mr. Malafala, you are a fairly high-profile individual in the community, and I think it required courage for you to step forward. Have you been counseled by some folks said, hey, bro, don't get involved, it's only going to hurt you, come back and bite you, things of that nature?
Yes, sir. First and foremost, thank you for your kind words. I'm just a humble servant, just loving the people of Hawaii, or visitors alike. No doubt, I've received a lot of criticisms. Like many of us here in opposition of this bill, we have family members who are on the other side that have this lifestyle. But guess what? In Hawaii, we don't call them gay. We don't call them mahus. We call them cousins, brothers, sisters. So yes, sir, I'm here against opposition, against many friends and families. But I stand by my beliefs. I'm not going to let any man, woman, or child tell me how to believe, how to pray, and how to live my lifestyle.
Okay. So you also, Samoan culture, you guys have the fa'afafine, which is a widely accepted part of the culture, correct? But they don't marry, that's still reserved for a man and a woman, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thanks, Teneri. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next.
Chair,
Other
Chair,
testifier.
I have
Wait, Representative McDermott, Representative Ward has a question for
Mr.
the same testifier.
Ma'afala, if you could come back for a second. Being that you were, as a career policeman, you testified that this will turn you into a lawbreaker. You going to arrest yourself after this thing goes through or what?
No, sir, I'm going to arrest people. Well, let me step back. Like I said, first and foremost, as a law enforcement officer, as I stand before you, I respect and honor all laws as a law enforcement officer. As a citizen of 52 years in this beautiful island state, I'm a law-abiding citizen. The same values I teach my wife, my children, my 10 other siblings, and the 40 or so nieces and nephews and 19 grandchildren for my mom. The bottom line is this. The day I retire and bills like this are introduced, I will never, ever honor such law. You would have to kill me to disrespect and dishonor my Father in heaven. You would have to kill me to impose these type of laws upon my children and my nieces and my nephews. That's what I'm saying.
The other question I had, Mr. Mafala, was that you said that justice rushed is justice lost. Could you elaborate on what you meant by that?
Yes, sir. That's what's happening. And like I said earlier, I feel for all of you right here. I can understand. Again, prematurely, when this was first introduced, a lot of you had already showed your hands, which side of the fence you stand on, whether you're supporting this bill or not. And then here, in this whole hearing, this last week or so, I've been here just as long as you have, and maybe even longer than some of you have. But again, like I said, I feel for all of you, that this have been imposed upon you by the governor, his chief of staff, and then the AG, who only can give answers of, I believe, but never I know in fact. I think. Come on. You're the highest paid legal advisor in the state. Come with some answers that are emphatic, that are facts, and not something that, oh, I believe so, or I think so. Even as an officer in doing my cases, I would never tell a victim of a case or even a suspect is based on facts, probable cause, just cause. That attorney general should abide by the same thing. So unfortunately for all of you, by the will of the governor, you have faced the wrath of the people, both sides of the fence. And like I said, the injustice has been served on the LGBT people. You guys have not given them a chance to put something on the table to address their needs. And then if we're talking about parliamentary rules, majority does rule. As a union president, that's how I run business, based on Robert's rules, the majority rules. Yeah, there's a flip side from a humanistic standpoint. If you're talking majority, majority doesn't always prevail. It's true. For the minority, we as government leaders, we listen to what the majority has said, but we also listen to what the minority are saying as well. We're not oppressing them. Okay, let's address their needs and their concerns as well.
Thank you for putting a plug into the minority that sometimes I am extremely a member of. Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Mr. Mafala.
Madam Chair,
Same person.
I have a couple questions for Mr. Mafala. I have,
Okay.
and just to let you know, Madam
Make
Chair.
sure I don't remind you guys again. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, Madam Chair, it's just got to thank the law enforcement officer here. It's because of law enforcement officers like this that I'm a law-abiding citizen today. Obviously, you run to one law enforcement officer like this is hard to run contrary against the law. But I have a question for you, Mr. Mafala. As a someone, are you full-blooded someone?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever had people mispronounce your name? Have you ever in your life experienced discrimination or things related to that?
Yes, sir.
So you know what discrimination looks like, and you know what discrimination doesn't look like.
Yes, I definitely do, sir. And if I could just elaborate a little bit. The interpretation and application of discrimination is so blown out of proportion.
Let me stop you right there. What's your next question?
Well, I would like to hear his answer in response to that, into that question.
Chair, please let the questioner proceed. Please.
Representative Ward, can you not
I'm not interrupting. You're interrupting, madam.
No, Representative Ward.
Thank you.
Representative Ward. Representative Ward. If we're not
Madam?
going to be courteous with each other, we're never going to end this hearing. So if you could please refrain from interrupting others. But
Thank
please
you.
go
I
ahead.
shall.
Go ahead.
As it relates to discrimination, no doubt, sir, I've been discriminated against. My whole family, we've been discriminated against. Like being the minority in this beautiful island state of ours still, we get discriminated against. But what I was trying to say, there's two types of discrimination. No doubt, if you're going to discriminate against race, color, creed, religion, then that's wrong. But it's not wrong to discriminate against something that's not in line with your beliefs based on biblical foundations and the like.
Okay. The last question I had is, this is something that's important to me, and I would like, given your leadership role in the community, as a legislator, are we addressing the right priorities? As a law enforcement officer, you see a lot of the things that go on in the state of Hawaii. I believe that the 80,000 children who live in poverty in the state of Hawaii should be priority. Do you believe that we have other more pressing issues in the state of Hawaii that need to be addressed?
Yes, sir.
And if you had the power to call a special session, Mr. Mafala, give me one or two things that you would call a special session in regards to.
It will be for the homeless. Homeless. There's people out there that needs things that this should be put. All this effort right here should be put towards addressing our homeless problems, because it has a direct impact not only on society itself, but every person of this state. So homelessness is one thing, and then of course as a law enforcement officer, you guys will never see the ugliness of paradise until you see it through an eye of a police officer. The ICE epidemic in Hawaii, state legislators, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mahal.
Any other questions for any other testifiers? Representative Carroll.
Thank you, Chair. Is Pastor Amina still here? I think he stepped out.
No, he's coming.
Oh, okay. Good afternoon, Pastor.
Good afternoon. Aloha.
I don't know if you remember me. I'm the Maui legislator that used to come to your church because my sister had 2 children that was baptized in your church, and so I was able to participate.
Thank you.
And my parents have a homestead in Waianae, so every
Thank you
time
very
that I would come to your church.
Thank
and
you.
I
You are
just wanna
welcome,
say-
and everyone else is welcome also.
And I just want to say thank you because I also have another sister who is also gay, and not ever once did you folks ever treat her any differently. My question to you is, I'm not sure, were you able to read Senate Bill 1? Because I'm going to ask you about, there's a part in the bill in regards to the concern that has been coming up recently in regards to Native Hawaiian entitlements and parentage and so forth. And so I guess my question to you, because I know that your church has majority Native Hawaiians and families and so forth, has there been any situation where maybe one of your members may have had a situation with adoption and felt discriminated because they couldn't get entitlements because of their situation with their birth certificate?
First of all, to answer that, I'm not too familiar with the point that you are trying to draw.
Okay.
But yes, we have had many adoptions in the church as well, among our peers and our members, and we work quite often real close with them. So the question that you are addressing to me is,
The question,
once more.
Okay, the question is, if you are have any members that have come to you as a pastor, someone where maybe your members are going for advice or counsel, that you've had a situation with that kind of concern.
We had many situations as such. I have counseled and advised them in many ways to help assist them. And we would never, ever turn them away or condemn them for what they feel they are or what they're going through. But we teach them biblical principles to help them bring them through the crises, the adversities, and challenges that they are faced with. So yes, we do assist them, advise, counsel, and help them in that area.
And then my second question is, I know you testified opposing Senate Bill 1,
Yes.
but if this bill shall move forward, have you had a chance to read House Bill 6? And if so, would there be language in there that you could support as a way of compromise?
Are you asking me if some of my bylaws would be adjusted in my
No,
church?
just if in looking at amendments. And if you haven't read House Bill 6, you don't need to answer that question.
Okay, I haven't read House Bill 6.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
You're so welcome.
Representative McDermott.
Can I have the lady from Boston, or I was talking about the Boston education issues in New England area? Is she still here, or is she gone? Well, I guess I lost out. Okay, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Representative Har.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Is 5084 still here? Leonard Swan. Good afternoon, Mr. Swan. Thank you for being here, and thank you for your testimony.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, did you say you're a public school teacher?
Yeah, 4th grade teacher.
Okay, so Are you a member of HSTA?
Yes, I am.
Okay, are you aware that your union endorsed this bill?
I was made aware of it over the last couple days, yes.
So did the members have an opportunity to have a say?
No.
Okay.
We were not made aware of it or given a choice or say.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair.
Any other questions? If not, thank you, testifiers. We'll take the next set of testifiers.
Good afternoon. My name is Nicole Lamb, and my number is 5171. I
thank
first
you.
want to honor and thank you for being willing to carry the mantle of representing us, the people of Hawaii. I know it's a title you don't take lightly, and is a load and often a burden that comes with a high price to you and your families. I know you cannot please everyone, and so I thank you for earnestly listening to the hundreds of testimonies. I know it's exhausting on your minds and bodies. I strongly oppose SB1. I know it's hard to be completely objective because we are coming from some sort of foundational belief system, but I choose to believe that innate in your being and in my being is the desire to do what is right. And so I urge you, no matter what pressure or negative ramifications you are facing, to please, please don't rush this bill, and to please carefully consider your vote, because it will have lasting consequences on our families. One thing that has made our country strong is that we have been taught by our parents and our grandparents to take responsibility for our actions, and that our choices and your choices affect not only our lives, our families and careers, but our community, our state, and our country. You are in positions of influence today with the wonderful potential and the ability, and yes, the sobering responsibility, to stand up for righteousness and liberty. Liberty is the state of being free within society from oppressive restrictions imposed by authority on one's way of life, behavior, and political views. In your attempt to bring equal rights to everyone, please do not sacrifice the liberty of the majority of our people. This issue is very complex with serious and life-changing ramifications for all of us, and therefore it deserves to have more thought and time put into it. And so please do not pass this bill, but rather give the people an amendment to vote on and let them demonstrate whether or not they truly want to change what they so strongly voted for in 1998.
Thank you very much. Next, please come up.
Benjamin Fisher, 5014. I'm not here to debate whether or not we should or should not allow gay marriage. You guys have had countless testimony in that regard. I am here to say, though, that I am against this bill. As an attorney, I think that it is hastily drafted, poorly worded, and perniciously ambiguous or silent on some really important issues. And I add my voice to the other attorneys and judges who have stood before you, warning you guys that the way that this is drafted is not adequate. I realize that this is a difficult issue. I realize that you're trying to balance competing interests. And the cynic will say, you know, no matter what we draft, it's never going to be perfect, so we might as well just pass this one because it's here in front of us. But I think the people of Hawaii deserve better than that. I'm not quite so cynical yet that I think you're incapable of drafting a bill that adequately protects all parties. I think that you guys have that ability. One point that I might just bring up is possibly a conscious objection clause. Conscious objection is something that we're all very familiar with. We accept the concept. You don't have to serve in the military if you have a conscious objection. Certain doctors don't have to perform abortions. There was a case out of the federal district last year, Storman Inc. v. Selecki, which kind of touched on this issue. It's kind of an analogous issue, I think, and I'm happy to take questions about that at the end. But in that case, the court pointed out the irony that you're allowed to refuse services for any reason except a religious reason. And I think that that's a really important point that needs to be considered. I am against this bill. Again, I'm not here to debate whether or not we should or shouldn't allow gay marriage. I am here to say, as an attorney, this is poorly drafted. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up.
Aloha. My number is 5166. My name is Nikki Pagan, and I strongly oppose SB1. I am a teacher, and right now I am testifying in front of you, but right now I'm testifying in front of my 12 eighth grade students who are watching. And my heart is to teach them that we have a voice, and it's really hard to give them examples when we are seeing what's happening in the news today. I believe that this bill is is wrong. This special session is wrong. We need to take time. It took me forever just to figure out what I'm going to write and say, and I only have 2 minutes. So passing a law that is going to affect everyone in the state, I think we need a little bit more time and to work these out to get everyone involved. I talked to a friend the other day. I saw her at dinner, and she said, "Where are you going?" I said, "I'm going to the Capitol to testify." She's like, "For what?" And I'm like, "What? For what? What's going on? How do you not know what's going on?" And it's probably half her fault because she's not paying attention, but I don't know if it's half our fault as legislators, your guys' fault, because nobody knows what's going on so fast under the radar. So it's kind of sketchy. I ask that we kill this bill. I ask that you let the people decide, and I hope that you bring it to a vote. And there's so much more people, my whole family that did not get to testify. My sister-in-law, whose number is 5164, who had to leave on a flight yesterday, who submitted a written testimony, but she didn't get to testify. So please kill this bill and vote no. Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
Aloha. My name is Aaron William Kapili Aloha Abila. My number is 5144. I just want to tell you guys a little story of how I grew up. I'm 21 years old, and as a young, aspired young man, it hurts to see that, I grew up in a home of a family of morals and family value. On top of that, I'm also a Christian of 15 years, but without any religious agenda. The fact of the matter that this premature bill, just this premature session, it really hurts because as a Hawaiian, as a native here, not being able to voice my own opinion, it hurts, I grew up in a home where my father, he works hard. My mother, she takes care of us. And as I look towards the next generation, passing this bill it's not breaking, it's not redefining just marriage, but redefining the home. And everything starts at home. One last thing that I want to tell you guys, I told myself I wouldn't do this, but I am a Christian, and I'd like to say this, is that Jesus did make marriage between one man and one woman. But I'd like to tell you that if you deny him before men today, he will deny you before the Father in heaven. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much. Next, please.
I'm 5,100. Honorable Rhodes, Luke, and Representative, aloha, and thank you for taking the time to listen to us, the people of Hawaii. My name is Serena Lee, and I live in Kailua. I strongly oppose SB1 and the special session. I have 7 mo'opunas, and that's why I'm here. I do not want my mo'opunas to be learning in school that it's normal and okay to be a lesbian or homosexual. We will be confusing them. My stepdaughter was a lesbian and now is in a heterosexual relationship and gave birth to a beautiful daughter. So I know that it is a choice. In 1998, we voted that a marriage is between a man and a woman. What happened to that? I'm also a small business owner, and I do not want this bill, SB1, to dictate who I should do business with. If the gay couples from Hawaii want so badly to get married, then go to California or the other state that approve it to do so. Are you ready to take on all the kukais and opalas that will come with SB1? I am not, nor do I want to. Let's keep our Hawaii the same, with marriage between a man and a woman, pure and safe for our kupunas, for ourselves, and especially for our keikis. Remember, we, the people of Hawaii, voted you in those seats. And we, the people of Hawaii, can remove you from those seats at next year's election. So I urge you to vote no on SB1 and to let the people of Hawaii vote. Mahalo and aloha.
Next, please.
Aloha. My name is Norma Slavish. My number is 5094, and I am opposed to SB1. First of all, I want to thank every man, woman, and children who came out to testify against this horrific SB1 bill. You all of you outside watching us, all of you in here, all of you waiting out in the hallways, all of you at home watching this on television, I just want to thank you for standing up for your principles on marriage. That marriage is a union of one man and one woman. It is a gift from God. When God created Adam, he said it is not good for man to be alone. Thus, woman was created. Woman was created. God did not make two men. He did not make two women. One man and one woman equals marriage. I want to thank you, members of the House, for allowing us to testify in opposition. It has only made us stronger, wiser, and more united in our reason to heed God's word, to stop, listen, and make good choices. It gives us reason to get us out and make a stand for what is right for us, our children, mostly our children, and their future. You got to hear this one. Just this morning, we were outside waving signs, and some gals came by to give us water. And this gay person was standing next to me. He says, well, where is this water from? And the gals were baffled, like this. It's from us. We're giving you this water. He says, well, is it gay water or is it straight water? The gals were baffled, and I'm thinking, where does this go? You know, are we going to have gay water fountains and straight water fountains, gay lines in the highway, and straight lines?
Thank you very much.
Thank
Next,
you.
please.
I am opposed.
Aloha, Chair Rose and Representative. I'm Bejanath Singh, 5039. Thank you for the opportunity to testify. I am a proud gay man, Catholic, strong supporter of SB1. Being a part of this LGBT community for the past 25 years and involved in nonprofit works for our communities, I witnessed firsthand the impact inequality has on our community. For the past several days, we have heard answers to the question whether the body of government should grant marriage equality to the LGBT community. Some say equality for LGBT community would infringe on the sanctity of marriage between one man and one woman. I'm here to inform you that is not true. I did not choose to be a homosexual. It is not a lifestyle choice either. But choosing to be homophobic and having religious affiliation is a choice. Most of those that testify and claim the Bible as the Word of God should not engaging in premarital sex, eat fishes with barbell, feast on pork, wearing clothing that is made of mixed fabric, or working on the Sabbath. Before the first Christians stepped foot on the sandwich aisles, the fabric of family were much different. Mahus and ikanis were placed in positions of power, such as educators, advisors, and artisans. If churches want a voice in government, they should start paying taxes. When it comes to civil rights issue, people oppose and discriminate what they don't understand. Some examples from the past include the rights of slaves to be free men, women to vote, interracial relationships, and now marriage equality. Please take into consideration many GLBT persons are direct products of heterosexual parents that discriminate against their children. SB1 is very crucial to my survival in this fair state of Hawaii. But unfairness make individuals do and say anything to stop progress.
Thank you very much. Next, please.
I'm number 5091. My name is Halihino Augustin. I am a Keikio-Ka'aina, and I strongly oppose Senate Bill 1. Initially, I did not intend to submit testimony. I felt like my voice wouldn't have mattered, especially if you're listening to the media. Everyone kept telling me it's been decided. There's nothing you can do or say. It's going to go through, whether we like it or not. Then Monday came, and I felt like my feelings were confirmed as the Senate limited testimony from the people. They had made up their minds without allowing the people their right to participate in their government. As the House committee started to hear testimony, I observed the outcry of the people. When you decided that all testifiers would be heard, I felt encouraged. It empowered me with the confidence to engage in this process. I decided to write and submit my testimony an hour before the deadline. Our system of democracy works best when the people have the opportunity to have their voices heard. That's why I'm here today, for the hope that you may listen and act upon what you hear. I want to be clear that growing up in these islands, I have a lot of friends and family who are gay. I respect and love them all to this day. For me, this is more about the process of creating law and the protection of everyone's rights in Hawaii, and not about whether or not I disagree with their lifestyles. I'm not here to interject my morality into everyone's life. As a young adult, I am trying to determine, as a young adult, I am very concerned for the future of Hawaii and its people. My question to you is, why are we trying to determine Hawaii's future in a matter of days? This bill obviously has many flaws, and we shouldn't leave the future to chance. One of my main concerns is the change to the educational curriculum. Have we even allowed the Department of Education to weigh in on this issue? As someone else mentioned, there have been more impact studies on the rail. All I'm asking is for more time. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, please.
Aloha. Thank you for sitting there long hours to hear our testimony. My name is Charlotte Alf, and my number is 5074. Everyone said pretty much what I want to hear, and I was meaning to say, but I have come to one particular conclusion. It seems words have meanings. Religion versus secular government. I feel like we didn't really be outraged when Christmas became Santa Claus, when Easter became the bunny. But the marriage belongs to the church. Civil unions is the other alternative. What else can we turn the other cheek for? I am opposed to SB1. It's going to lead to the downfall and unintended consequences to teach our young alternative lifestyles. They're being fair. Well, I recommend, if that of check and balance, that we can bring back God also into the education system. Because then, if that is left out and we impose alternative lifestyles, then now it's reverse discrimination. The word discrimination has been used quite loosely here because they believe the word distinction is what we are trying to make clear. My mother is not my father. I am not my sibling. We are distinctly different. but we're equal.
Thank you very much. Next, please.
Thank you.
Hi, my number is 5123. My name is Jeff Ng. I strongly oppose this bill, SB1. I'm an architect and also a professional wedding photographer. I'm a father of two young children. I'm a son, a brother, and also a husband. Most of all, I'm a Christian. I hold a Christian value and moral in my home and my businesses. Everything that I do, Christ is the center of it. So as a wedding photographer, this bill put me in the risk of being sued of discrimination. I guarantee that this will happen if I continue with my business with my Christian belief. This bill put me in a very hard position. One side, I have a value and belief. The other side, I need to put food on the table for my family. I'm being forced to go against my Christian belief so that I can feed my family. So are you telling me that stealing is okay if I need to put food on the table? Also, this bill would have passed. It would also hurt the Hawaii tourism. As you know, that people from China are flocking to Hawaii right now. Hawaii Tourism Authority has estimated 23% growth from 2013 to 2014. Air China has just opened a direct flight to Hawaii, and Hawaiian Airlines will start their service directly from Beijing next year. To put this into another perspective, people from China value their traditional family value. When the traditional family comes to Hawaii and see ads and brochure about gay marriage in Hawaii, trust me, you're just gonna lose the market. Homosexual is not widely accepted.
Thank you very much. Next, please.
Vote no. Chair, I'm gonna translate for her while she's...
Okay.
Yeah.
Aloha, dear Chairman and community member. My name is Marie Lin. My number is 5068. I'm here to strongly oppose SB1.
My husband was a Chinese born and raised in Hawaii. He went to Taiwan in 1967 as a missionary.
I'm sorry, let me interrupt just a second. What was the number again? 5068?
5068.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Okay. I met him there. I came to Hawaii with him in 1983. I have been a U.S. citizen since 1986. My husband passed away last year. We have two beautiful daughters. I love Hawaii because it is a very beautiful place, and here I spend my life with my loving husband for the past 30 years. And there are many Chinese from Taiwan and mainland China. I felt at home. For the past more than 5,000 years in Chinese culture, dynasty change, generation change, leader change, people's lives change, but the deep belief of traditional marriage is the union of a man and a woman never change. Because marriage is the fundamental structure of every prosperous society. We need a husband and a wife to make babies. True. So our human being can continue to exist. One man and one woman marriage deserve our whole heart defense. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, please.
Aloha. Number 5182. My name is Haliaka Iolani Pule. The last time I've been in this house was many, many years ago. My grandfather was a state house representative, one of the longest of his times. I remember being in here, not necessarily this room, but in this house, because he opened the legislature. His name was Akoni Pule. I learned from him within our household about how important it was to serve the people, to be of service. I spend my entire life being of service because of these core instructions that we have all been raised in. I am a Ho'oponopono teacher. As of this year, I've been to 140 different countries. I have helped different tribes to find different ways to restore harmony and balance to the many problems that we have in this world. I think the biggest problem with what's going on right now is that this bill touches upon such a big button that really reflects the core of who all of us are, every one of us. Our belief structure, who we are, has got a lot to do with what this bill is signifying and what it's very loosely talking about. Culturally, I take care of Hikiau Heiau, the temple complex at Kealakekua Bay. My 8th great-grandfather was Heva Heva Nui, the last high priest of Hawaii. That temple complex was also in charge of training the 3 different orders of priesthood.
Thank you very much. Next testifier, please.
I'm also able to offer my services if you need it.
I'm sorry, we got to move on. I appreciate you being here. You do have the distinction of being the last person on the list, so for whatever that and $2 will buy you a cup of coffee, I guess. But
well, I
congratulations.
figure if this didn't start with the pule, it can at least end with one, yeah?
Well, we're not done yet, unfortunately. Next, please.
Aloha, how's it? My name is Art Larson. My number is 5099. I want to thank you, Chair Rhodes, Luke, and the members of this committee for allowing, just for the patience and the enduring that you folks have done. I mean, from the bottom of my heart, and I represent about 5,000 people at New Hope. We really want to thank you. We want you to know that we love you. We're praying for you. We just pray God's best. I'm just here to share a little bit of the injustice that we feel. I am opposed to SB1. There is an injustice here, and the injustice is to 51 of you. This hasty and rushed special session brought out by a failing governor. I like to call him Governor, you're killing me, because he really is. He has thrown on you and on your shoulders, he has thrown you into a firestorm. You've heard it before, that you do not deserve, nor should you have to endure. You were put in a place that you ought not. All of Hawaii knows that this governor is not going to get reelected, and he is trying to write a legacy right now where there is none. He's trying to gain traction, and in the process, he's sucking all of you into it. And our heart goes out to all of you, because you cannot hammer out something like this that will enter into millennium in 5 days. And so we're struggling with you. There was something put on your shoulders that you are not able to carry, folks. All 51 of you. You are not. We didn't hire you for that. That was never our intention when we hired you. And remember, we did hire you, and we love you. And you are not intended to shoulder this. The people of Hawaii got strong shoulders. We got real strong shoulders. Let us carry the load for you. You know, I know what it means to be a leader, folks. I'm a father of 2, a grandfather of 3. I'm a retired NCO in the Hawaii Army National Guard, and I'm one of the pastors at New Hope Leeward. And leadership knows that it takes teamwork. Let the people of Hawaii team up with you. Don't take it. Forget about, you're killing me. Let's go together. Amen?
Thank you very much. Next, please.
Greetings, members of the House of Representatives. My name is Jason C.S. Kim, and my number is 5097. And greetings also to Chair Rose and Chair Luke. I'm a resident and voter of the state of Hawaii. If God's laws and rules and statutes were violated, I would gladly fight for the LGBT community, but this is not the case. After civil unions bill passed in our great state of Hawaii, 2 homosexual couples soon sued the state and Governor Abercrombie because they could not get married. If SB1 passes, there will be more lawsuits, more testimonies, and the other side will keep fighting for their rights. This is as if all those in the LGBT community came out of the closet, and those for traditional marriage are forced into the same closet they came out of. The problem is, this closet space is not big enough to hold and fit all those in favor of traditional marriage. It's just not big enough. So I see a future in our great state of Hawaii where if a person is not in line and for homosexual rights, he or she can be punished by losing employment because of discrimination complaints, children forced to learn and accept homosexuality. Some of us will be arrested and thrown into prisons for standing up for our religious convictions, and the list goes on and on. My point is our freedoms will get smaller and smaller while those in the LGBT community will get larger and larger. And this means our space and our place in society if SB1 passes. Do the majority of us who are not homosexual have to suffer because of the few who are? Their persecution and the condemnation of us will get greater than before. When Jesus forgave the woman caught in the very act of adultery, he told her, "I do not condemn you either. Go and sin no more." Ladies and gentlemen, let me remind you to God, homosexuality is a sin. If homosexuality was not a sin, as I said before, I would gladly fight for this, but it's not.
Thank you very much. Next, please.
Thank you all for your dedication and time. My name is Jenny Wallace. My number is 5035, and I speak in favor of SB1. I am a canon in the Episcopal Church in Hawaii who last week voted unanimously in favor of marriage equality. I believe in Christian values, especially unconditional love and the radical inclusiveness our Lord showed in his life and teaching. I believe in traditional marriage, and I have been married to a wonderful man for almost 40 years. Thankfully, traditions change. There was a time in this country where we could not have been married because we are of different races. Archbishop Desmond Tutu once said that we are to oppose discrimination not because of our politics, but because of our faith. And I do. However, this is a civil issue, and I believe a justice issue. Our country was founded on the principle that all people are created equal, that we are endowed by our Creator with certain inalienable rights. Among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Of course, at the time, the only ones allowed full exercise of those rights were old white men in funny wigs who happened to be landowners. Generations since have expanded our understanding and passed laws based on that principle. Poor people, them too. Black people, them too. Women, them too. Gay people, yes, them too.
Thank you very much. Next, please.
Hello, my name is April Bullard, and my number is 5052, and I oppose SB1. I want to say my testimony isn't a personal attack on anyone or on the other side of this issue. I have deep respect for those whose worldviews are different than my own, whether they be Christian, Jew, Muslim, Hindu, atheist, gay, straight, or transgendered. I believe that wise public policy is derived from analyzing data, understanding the lessons of history, and examining our fundamental values. I lived in California during the debate over same-sex marriage, and I witnessed the political intimidation firsthand. I currently am getting my teaching credential for the state of California, and I am being taught how to affirm homosexuality in adolescent children. Although California voted to amend the state constitution to define marriage between a man and a woman, the government refused to comply with the people's wishes and overturned the law. Now, California has 3 parent birth certificates. Transgendered boys are allowed in girls' bathrooms and locker rooms, and Gay Day is celebrated in our schools. The IRS allegedly leaked the donor list for my traditional marriage group to their political opponents to intimidate them. I disagree with comparing homosexuality to race. Although riding the coattails of the 1960s civil rights movement has been a brilliant political strategy, it isn't true comparison. First, race is objectively identified at birth. DNA can confirm racial identity, and forensic scientists can identify race by skeletal remains. What I feel about my racial identity is insignificant because my genetic composition merely confirms a fact. None of these objective standards of identification can be applied to sexual orientation. In psychology textbooks, it says scientists debate the origins of homosexuality. The belief that some sexual orientation is genetic is undermined by the studies of identical twins. Scientific research shows that sexual orientation is flexible, complex, and multifaceted. It changes over time. This is not true of race. One of the first large-scale studies concluded that children raised in same-sex relationships, nearly 40%, were less likely to graduate high school.
Thank you very much. Next, please.
My name is Nan Chandler. My number is 5092, and I oppose SB number 1. The Hawaii Constitutional Amendment of 1998 states that the legislature shall have power to reserve marriage to opposite-sex couples. It does not state that the legislature shall have power to reserve marriage to same-sex couples. So either this amendment is being interpreted to favor one side of the issue, or an addendum was added without the knowledge of the people of this state. I think that there needs to be accountability on the part of lawyers and legislators to keep the public informed and to not craft legislation that may be misleading to the people. I oppose SB1 as it does not adequately protect the religious rights of individuals, religious facilities, and small businesses. I do not think that anyone should be forced to do something that is contrary to their religious beliefs. I have read SB1 and do not understand all of it, but I have reservations about Section 572F, page 6. It states, notwithstanding any other law to the contrary, no religious organization shall be subject to any fine, penalty, injunction, administrative proceeding, or civil liability for refusing to make its facilities or grounds available for solemnization of any marriage celebration under this chapter, and it goes on. It sounds like the phrase, notwithstanding any other law to the contrary, leaves an open door for a law to be added later on to nullify this protection. It does not make sense to give rights to one group by taking away the constitutionally held rights of another. Religious rights were specifically included in the U.S. Constitution because of religious persecution in past history. I know individuals who are gay or who support gay marriage, and I respect it. I differ with friends on other beliefs and issues, but we still get along and love each other because we have mutual respect for each other's beliefs and values. I ask that you put your political parties aside, consult lawyers and experts on both sides of the issue, and come up with a fair piece of legislation that preserves religious rights and freedoms.
Thank you very much. Next, please.
What's up? My name is Peter Parrish, and my number is 5120. And I am against rail transit. Oh, sorry, is this the right room? Sorry, wrong room. No, I'm against I am not for SB1. I'm against SB1.
I'm sorry. Can you tell me again what your number was?
5120.
5120. What was your name?
Peter Parrish.
Okay. You're good. Go for it. Sorry.
So, for me personally, as I was pondering like the both sides of everything, I want to give you guys a lot of credit for the past few days, for everything that you've gone through. I mean, from the testimonies to the opinions to some of them were almost like threatening. You guys dealt with a lot, so congratulations to you guys. Well, for me personally, I like to think in questions, and so when it came to this bill, I really was pondering on a lot of different things, and like a big question came to my mind, and I want to propose this question to you guys as well. My question is, if what we're doing at its simplest form is taking the definition of marriage and adding to the definition, so we're redefining marriage, what's going to stop future generations or people in the future from adding to that definition as well? if we're saying that if a man and a woman is allowed to be married, that's the original definition, and we're saying that we can add a man and a man or a woman and a woman into the same thing, then who's going to stop future generations from saying that if one person wants to get married to multiple women or a woman wants to get married to multiple men, to add to that definition as well? Or who's to say that a man can't marry his sister, or a mother can marry her son? Because they're going to be saying that if you redefine it for them, why can't you redefine it for us? And in the future, in that case, because there's a lot of different case studies, and people have brought those to their own state courts as well. And in the future, people can say, like, I can marry a pedophile, or someone can say that I can marry a 5-year-old girl, or likewise. And to eventually say that we can eventually redefine marriage and keep adding to it to a point where you don't even have to be a person. You can be a person marrying an object or even an animal. So my question to you is, what's going to stop us from the future for people
Thanks
in the
very
future
much.
to
Next,
redefine
please.
marriage? Thank you.
Hello, my name is Christian Cianillo, and my number is 5045, and I'm opposed to SB1. And I understand there's a lot of emotional ties to this subject, because on the one hand, people feel like their rights are being stepped on. People feel like their rights have been denied for so long. And when we say that, hey, why this special session, why the rush? Well, to them, they've been waiting for a long time, and it's not a rush. But on the other hand, we have people over here that believe in the First Amendment. They believe in what this country stands for, and they don't believe that marriage is between, by definition, is between opposite same-sex couples. Traditionally, marriage has been understood, apart from my own faith, which I do stand upon the foundations of the Bible, that the Bible does make it explicitly clear that marriage is between a man and a woman. Apart from that, traditionally, marriage has been understood as having, at its core, the possibility of procreation. At its essence, the protection of posterity, the furthering of the human race. And I feel for my LGBT family members, friends, that they can't ever experience that part. That they can't experience that, and that's where I stand. I stand on that and say, who are we to redefine marriage? Who are we to redefine it? And the slippery slope argument, as sick and tired of people as people are of hearing it, it's true. That if you're going to redefine it now, how are you as legislature going to look in the eyes of someone else who says, I want to be married to multiple partners? How are you guys going to look at them with a clear conscience and say, sorry, no? You've trampled their rights too if you guys go on with this. And I'd just like to say that as a member of the church, we love our LGBT family members, our friends and all that. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, please.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jing Hu, and my number is 5054. I'm Chinese and have lived on this beautiful island for 11.5 years. I'm strongly and firmly against the SB1 bill. Marriage is a covenant between a man and a woman. It's a relationship rooted in human nature and governed by natural law. The promotion of same-sex marriage denies the self-evident biological, physiological, and psychological differences between men and women, which find their complementarity in marriage. Marriage is the central element of society. A reason why we should be worried by the redefining of marriage is the unintended consequences of such a step. Legal recognition of same-sex marriage will change the foundation of society, obscure certain basic moral values, devalue traditional marriage, weaken public morality, and thus open the door to all kinds of crazy behaviors. Please respect our concern that extending marriage to same-sex couples is not only unwise, but also dangerous. The sky over this beautiful island has an ominous look of falling. Please get it right by saying no to the SB1 bill. Mahalo.
Thanks very much. Next, please.
Aloha mai. My name is Michaela Branco, and my number is 5179. I'm a 20-year-old Kona Hawaii native, and I'm also a UH student. And today I stand in opposition of SB1, but I also need to make it clear that although I'm against this bill, that doesn't mean that I'm against people or individuals. You know, I look around this room and I don't see a homosexual group and a heterosexual group. I just see people. I see people fighting for happiness and for what they believe in. And so originally I had a note card with all of these notes that I just wanted to say. But this weekend I got to work at Alo'i Kalo, which is a taro farm. And I was thinking, you know, why is this so important to me? I've never gotten involved with governmental issues before, so why do I care? And I was looking at this Lo'i Kalo, and the most important part of it is the kahawai, which is the stream. And the water from the stream comes into the lo'i, and it comes in and then it goes back into the stream so that other people with other lo'i can also take part in the water. But if we cut off the water and we divert all of the water to another place, then this lo'i that we have, it dries out. And the people, they get scared, they feel like they can't provide for their families, and they get angry at the people who do have all of the water, where the water is being diverted to. And it creates this division in people. And that's what I feel like this bill is doing. It's creating a division in our people. You know, it breaks my heart when I'm upstairs and I see people, adults, fighting with each other, arguing, bashing each other, and this isn't what Hawaii's supposed to be like. And so I believe that there's a better solution than SB1. And as previously mentioned, I heard that HB6, I'm not really sure, but you know, I believe that that's maybe another option. And but yeah, so with that, I just wanted to leave you with something that I heard in the 7th grade that I always remembered was, an eye for an eye will only leave our whole world blind. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, please.
Hi, my name is Blaze, and my number is 5064, and I oppose this bill because in my school I would not want to learn about gay, sexual stuff, and marriage is between a man and a woman, so we can multiply.
Can you tell me? I'm sorry. Can you tell me your name again?
Blaze.
Blaze. Okay, great. Go ahead.
To multiply people, if a man and a man get together, they will most likely will not have a baby, and a woman won't have a baby. And I have family members that are gay, and I still love them, and I would like you guys to kill this bill because I don't like it.
Okay. Thanks for enough. Thanks. Thank you. Next, please.
Yeah.
Good afternoon. My name is Jing Haiyang, and my number is 5053. I came to Hawaii as a Chinese, as an international student, and I'm working now as a structural engineer. Now, I am strongly against the SB1 bill. Some people think that we should legalize same-sex marriage because there are people who are born to be homosexual, and it is not their choices. I disagree with this argument. When I was a toddler, I wanted to steal toys from other kids because I was born with the natural desire to possess other kids' toys that I don't have. When I became a young man, I wanted to have many wives because I was born with this natural desire. However, our government does not legalize theft and polygamy according to people's natural desires because it is harmful to the whole society. I learned to understand and support this. In the same way, we should not legalize same-sex marriage to satisfy some people's sexual desire, even if it is natural, because it will not sustain our society. Children are conceived by a mother and a father, and will be best raised by a mom and a dad, who are their most important role models. Marriage between opposite sex is the very foundation of our human race and society. Do not compromise this foundation. And please vote no for the same-sex marriage bill. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, please.
Honorable Chair, Chairperson Carl Rhodes and Sylvia Luke, and elected members of the House. My name is Hiroshi Chinen, and my registration number is 5103. I am 87 years old and reside in Kaneohe, and I am deeply honored for the privilege you all allowing me to share my concern over SB1. I most definitely oppose SB1 because due process of this bill was not exercised. I believe if due process was done the proper way, our beloved state of Hawaii would not be so divided as reported in a daily newspaper. Our Honorable Governor Neil Abercrombie and his pals tried to ramrod this bill. This past Monday, I heard number of people share their testimony in regards to the subject matter. My impression on those who opposed and those who are in favor of SB1 spoke eloquently, clear, and concise. But I was appalled by the chairperson conduct and his dictatorial attitude as the Senate public hearing. Originally, the people who testified were told they would be given 2 minutes to speak. And when it started, they were advised they had only 1 minute. Is this the way our elected officials conduct their business in the legislative session? Bullying the people to get their points across is not the thing to do. But tonight, as I listened to the Judiciary Committee of the House, I was so pleasantly surprised. These committee members showed so much courtesy and respect to the public, and I'm sure that the participants enjoy their sharing the testimony. The committee members did not mock.
Despite the compliment, I'm going to have to cut you off. Thank you very much. Next, please.
Aloha and Maloilele. My name is Carol Fanga, and my registration number is 5162, and I'm from La'i, and I'm very proud to be from that community. The reason I am here today is to oppose Senate Bill 1, and the reason for that, well, there's several reasons, but one thing I'd want to bring across today is to ask you House representatives to please consider some extended time to strongly consider all of the different voices that have been sharing their opinions about this very sensitive issue. It's so important that we continue to create harmony with all of these different divisions, religions, as well as gays and lesbians, as well as just everyone. And I really think that if you have the opportunity, it's in your hands now to take the time to come up with a comprehensive plan that would include opportunity, and especially all of us people, to be at the table to support you in this decision. We realize that there are so many issues that we're all facing regarding GMOs, electric bills, all these kinds of things skyrocketing. This issue came out of left field in a special session. We invite you to invite us to be a part of this and help to make this solution so that we can continue to build a bridge rather than to create a huger disconnect between these communities. we didn't ask for this, and we realize that it's out of our hands, but we're asking now and put faith in all of you, representatives. We voted for all of you, and we ask, actually, let me ask you, if you were invited to make a call today by sharing what your constituents or everyone in your district, what the majority would ask you to vote, what would it be? I don't expect you to answer that, but if you were to just answer on behalf of your people, honestly, truly, and honestly, I wonder what your answer would have to be. So that is my testimony, and I ask that if you would also consider looking deeply into your communities, there are individuals who want to aid you in this and support in these efforts and bringing people together. Let me know.
Thank you very much. Next, please.
My number is 5157. My name is Sheila Famuna, and I stand here today to say no to SB1. I stand here in honor of my ancestors, grandparents, and parents who could not be here today. I am frustrated with the process in which this bill is being heard. Our governor called a special session in which you, our legislatures, are attempting to pass this law within a day or two. There are many people who have come out to speak in opposition to this bill, and this is because we fear that you, our elected representatives, will not listen to the voices of the people. This issue is very important to many of us, and we should be able to vote on this. Let the voice of the people decide where we would like the future of our state to go. Sometimes we rush, but sometimes we need to step back and look back at this problem. Give it time. I believe in traditional marriages. I believe there is a God. Don't let evil conquer you, but conquer evil by doing good. Kill the bill, not kill the people and their freedom. Mahalo.
Thanks very much. Next, please.
My name is Noveo Kai. My number is 5028. The more I learn about the Senate Bill 1, the more I'm confused how this bill even came to this point. I'm confused at the fact that I've been reprioritizing my schedule, pausing work and school progress to come to the Capitol to plead for an opportunity to vote. This bill's report title reads Equal Rights, and its measure title reiterates relating to equal rights. However, altering ethnicity is not equal, and it's not right. According to this bill, parentage rights include transferring Native Hawaiian ethnicity to non-Native Hawaiian individuals. I'm going to say that again. According to this bill, parentage rights include transferring Native Hawaiian ethnicity to non-Native Hawaiian individuals. That's not even an existing privilege afforded to married couples. You know, there's the wrath of God that many citizens have happily shared with you these past few days. And then there's the wrath of Native Hawaiians. Have you considered that? There's also the forced curricula in school systems. So before Hawaii students collectively rank above 50 in the nation for science, technology, engineering, and math disciplines, let's add new regulations and benchmarks for our youth to not meet. As a recent lawyer mentioned, he's sitting in the back, this bill extends beyond same-gender marriage. In an attempt to gain equality for one thing, this bill, as is, creates even more inequality. Perhaps a more suitable title should read, Not Equal, Not Right. I'm disheartened with my policymakers and embarrassed for my country regarding the drafting of this bill. More impact assessment has been made on the super ferry and, as Holly mentioned, the rail. I'm certain there are high school research papers that have gotten more reviews than this bill. A'ole pono, SB1.
Aloha to all of us, because we are gathered here and all of us have the kuleana we share. They just have a different kuleana, but we have a shared one for the sake of our Hawaii. I am Feiwera Testifier 5141, and I am in opposition of the bill. I'm not going to spend time talking about the bill, but the process. how blessed we are that we are of Hawaii. And if you don't feel you blessed, then you got to find another home. But being part of this blessing carries much kuleana because there are privileges here on this island. I want to begin with the words of our beloved and astute leader that you should study, Queen Liliuokalani, whose words have never been more relevant. I encourage all those in positions of leadership to study her teachings. I've taken the liberty of adding some mana'o for the present situation. Quote, I could not hold back the time for political change, but there is still time to save our heritage, our future, for generations yet to be born. You must never cease to act because you fear you may fail, or be concerned whether you will win the next election. The way is to be too flexible, tolerant of too many wrongs without judgment at all, or to listen to people with your bias. We are in a position where this is a razor's edge. It is the width of a blade of pili grass. Go find one, you will see it's real small. To gain the kingdom of Apono Hawaii is to hear what is not said, to see what cannot be seen, and to know the unknowable. That is aloha. How close are we to understanding that place where opposing positions meet? And you know, I'm so proud, and what got me here is because at almost 70, I have to teach the others. So you are not with an ignorant citizenry. So mahalo for the opportunity.
Next, please.
Aloha and aloha. My name is Burkhart Aitavale. My number is 5138. I oppose SB1 bill for many reasons. One, children do best when they're raised by their biological father and mother, who are committed to one another in a lifelong marriage. Two, I believe any society that truly opposes and cares about our children will oppose the legalization of homosexual unions for the reason alone. Three, children need the complementary balance of a kind of love both mother and the father provide. The nurture and the compassion of a mother combined with a father's love, which calls a child to achievement in order to fulfill God's given potential. Plus, children learn how to relate to both sexes later in life by relating to both mom and a dad and observe the way in which they relate to each other. I urge you all not to pass this bill. It is incomplete and insufficient. All the political games need to stop. Think about our children. Governor, not under my watch, you will sneak this bill under my home. Yes, Hawaii nei. My hale, my heart, my pride, and my soul. I will stand for my babies. I have 7 beautiful gifts from God. My nephews and my nieces all over these islands and all the keikis. I will stand and defend for you in this beautiful island of Hawaii. We will be the light of this falling nation. We will be the foundation of our nation. We will let everyone know this small island's light will shine all over America again. To Europe, where it started. Just because I stand for traditional marriage doesn't mean I hate you all. I love you all. Trust me, I love you all. It's not that I hate you all, I disagree with you. Don't get it twisted. I believe you all have a sworn oath of office at the end, which it says, so help me God. Where is God? You will serve the people. You will be their voice. I humbly ask you all to come together and be the light, not only in your workplaces and in the families and your homes.
Thank you very much.
Next, please. Remember the next year, make the right decision and
Next,
think
please.
about the future of our children.
Next, please.
God bless you all.
Talofa, my name is Arona Uta and my number is 5139. I come today because I don't like SB1. Please listen to the people of Hawaii. We are saying, let us vote. I believe in traditional marriage between one man and one woman. I believe you all will do the right things. Chairman, it is customary to take time to discuss all the information gathered from 4 days of testimony. They should take at least a couple of days to consider and discuss. It is only common sense to take time and discuss things thoroughly before they come to decisions for something as important as this. Do not mock to the people of Hawaii and treat them like fools and make a decision today. Have you read all 15,000 testimony? If you make a decision today, that means you already had your mind made up, and this was a shame. On Saturday night, you schedule when the decision when going to be, which means you already made up your mind on this bill. Don't do that to the hundreds of people who stood in line. Please let Hawaii vote. Thank you, and mahalo nui loa. God bless.
Thanks very much. Next, please.
Good afternoon. My name is Wai Ying Chi. My number is 5129. I'm a husband, and my son is 13 years old. I'm a pastor of Chinese Lutheran Church of Honolulu on Liliha Street. I came from Hong Kong and has been here 3 years. I'm strongly opposing SB1. Again, I'm strongly opposing SB1. Thank you for listening to my voice, and I am sure all of you have heard the voice of people, but please listen. Listen to our voice and our concern. Our concerns are the education traditional value, one man and one woman marriage. How bad is SB1 passed to our next generation? All of this also is my concern. But today, I want to ask a question to our governor, to all representatives. Why are you pressing the people to accept this immoral practice, same-sex marriage? In this island, in the school, in our life. What is the moral? According to Immanuel Kant, he was a German philosopher. He grounded an opinion of it. If the act is moral, that means you agree and hope all people to do the same things. And you think this practice or act in whole human society, human race, and it will benefit the whole human race. If under this understanding,
thank you very much.
Same-sex marriage
I'm sorry.
is immoral.
Please.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Samantha D. Court. I oppose Senate Bill 1 and my number is 5184. Marriage exists because God created it, and it was intended as a gift from God between one man and one woman. Now we have to ask ourselves, why was God so specific between one man and one woman? Why not say marriage is for any two people who love each other? Why so specific? It's obvious that God knew today would come. He knew that there would be a time when man would redefine what he has purposely created to be holy and to be sacred. And today is that day. For this reason specifically, we have to ask ourselves, what will man redefine next? Forgiveness? Prayer? Salvation? In years to come, will our state senate or House of Representatives determine if my children get into heaven or not, even though the Bible clearly states that Jesus is the only way to the Father? Will our government determine if my granddaughter has been forgiven of her sins, even though the Bible says that God has thrown her sins into the sea of forgetfulness? Does God not hear the prayers of the righteous? These areas, God has given clear instruction. Now, regardless if you support or oppose Senate Bill 1, I believe we can all agree on one thing, that God created marriage, right? Now, let me ask you another question. Do you think God's creations needs to be revised or approved by a committee? Do you think God isn't intelligent enough to think things through when he left us with certain instructions? That God makes mistakes? And if you answered yes to those last two questions, it's no wonder why we're here today. Because you're not redefining marriage. You're redefining God. Thank you.
Thank you. At this point, we're going to stop and see if members have any questions for this last group of testifiers. Members? Okay. Oh, Representative Vice Chair Hart.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Can I have Haleaka Iolani Pule come up, please? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I'm
Aloha.
sorry. Aloha. Thank you for being here. I was watching your testimony from upstairs when I was eating, and I just wanted to be clear. Are you in support or in opposition of the bill?
I'm in opposition of this bill.
Okay, and why do you think that we would need to ho'oponopono after this?
Well, basically, number one, like many other before me, the wording of this paper, this bill, is so screwed up. Excuse my English. But Hawaiians no swear words. So I'm going to use an English word to describe it. It really does not cover, and it shows a lack of insight. And all you got to do is look at those that have implemented it into their states to see the problems that are there, to reconsider the wording that is needed in order to make this equal.
As a native Hawaiian, are you offended by the bill?
No, I'm not offended. It takes a lot to offend me, actually, which makes me a really good ho'oponopono teacher. But as a native Hawaiian, you know, I was explaining previous, my 8th great-grandfather was Hewa Hewa Nui. He foreseen the coming of a new way of honoring Akua. He laid down the ki'i of Hikiau Heiau in Kealakekua 20 years before the very first missionary hit our shores. Okay. We found our way to believe. We look at nature. Nature is created around us. We have all the lessons that are right here. And through that, I do believe that Akua does exist. I do believe that nature holds all the answers, because all you have to do is look at pharmaceuticals nowadays versus all the natural healing to see what's going on.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Members, any other questions?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Representative Fale.
For me too?
No, I think you answer. I think you went answer already.
Mahalo.
Thank you, Auntie. Shoo. Let's see. Ofela uso Samoa o le numera 5 kasi koluiwa.
Okay. Anyone else?
Okay. Well, let me my Samoan brother over here, if he can. I just want to get their opinion, Mr. Speaker, on a sentence here. When I read you this sentence, the legislature shall have the power to reserve marriage to opposite-sex couples. You're of Samoan descent, correct?
I'm sorry.
What does that mean?
Please get to the point. This is
this
is an issue we've gone over about
100 times. Well, the point that I have, Mr. Chair, is that I want to ask a group, and I have several questions here. I would like also to call up the structural engineer from China, and some of these other cultural groups here, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chair.
One at a time, but ask your question and let's move on.
Okay. When I read you that question, given your Samoan heritage, your background, and the multicultural diversity that we have here in the state of Hawaii, we try and, if we're trying to communicate something to 1.4 million people, we try and get them to understand what we're saying, so that we don't have to go to court and ask people who have gone to school for 20 years or however long to understand it, right? So I want to ask you, when I read you this sentence, what does it mean to you? The legislature shall have the power to reserve marriage to opposite-sex couples.
I'm sorry, we've gone over this 100 times, so please ask a different question.
Mr. Speaker, this question has never been asked of a Samoan in this group yet, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chair.
If you'd like to ask him if you'd like to go out in the audience and talk to him privately, that's fine.
But I think it's important for this committee to understand.
If you feel like you need that information to make a decision on this bill, please go talk to him. But this issue has been.
But I think it's important for this committee to understand.
Go ahead and go talk to him, but there's just no point in going over this again.
Do
you have another question?
Well, Mr. Chair, it's just I'm just concerned that the language that we use, is it being communicated to the multicultural group that we're presented with here in the state of Hawaii?
Yes or no?
What does that mean to you? If the legislature shall have the power to reserve marriage to opposite sex couples, if you vote yes on that, what does that mean to you?
robbing the people.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay.
Let's move on.
People
Members,
is the
any
power.
other questions?
You got to understand that.
Okay.
I have another question for Carol Fenga.
Okay, make it quick.
And I know, Carol, I know you're of Tongan ancestry, and you heard that question. When you read that question and if you answer yes on it, what do you believe that would do?
That would reserve the marriage for opposite man and woman.
That period. Does it mean anything else? Do you believe that turned power over from the people to somebody else, or does that mean? Do you believe that means it reserves marriage to one man and one woman?
Okay. This issue has been dealt with multiple times. So please, do you have any other questions?
Okay, no, that's all. Now for the structural engineer, Mr. Chair.
Okay, I'm going to open it up.
Mr. Chairman, with all due respect, Mr. Chairman, the fact of the matter is he hasn't asked that question to this particular testifier, so he should be able to ask that question to this testifier. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
He can ask the question to the testifier anytime he likes. I'm just saying that we've gone over it in this committee hundreds of times.
But he hasn't asked that particular testifier, Mr. Chairman. So he's tried to, but you are cutting them off.
I'm saying if you believe.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Representative Foley, if you believe that you need the specific information from that witness to make a decision on this bill, please go ask him privately. But this committee has dealt with that question 100 times at least. Do you have another question on something?
I don't believe I've gotten the answer to that question, Mr. Chair.
Well, then go ask him privately, because this committee has dealt with that question over and over and over again.
All right. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Members, any other questions? Okay, seeing none. Next testifier. Oh, this is still the last group. Okay.
Good afternoon.
I'm sorry. Can you please suspend for a moment? We're going to have to take a quick recess. Recess.
Let him go. Richard, go ask for your question. Go ask for your question.